What is the greatest hurdle between you and fluent English speaking, efficient listening, and powerful writing? It may not be vocabulary, it may not even be grammar, it may be word order. English predominantly follows the SVO pattern, subject plus verb plus object. For example, Sneha likes sweets. Sneha is the subject, likes is the verb.
Syntax means the word order. Basically, to understand English, you should know what is a word order in a sentence. Now, we will see the basics just to give you a clear idea where you have to start with. This is essential to understand any paragraph or any text. Okay, syntax means the word order in a sentence. Okay. There is a particular order of word or in a sentence. Sneha likes sweets. Here, Sneha is subject, likes is verb, object is sweets. Okay, we call it SVO order. Remember this, only in English you have this particular order. Subject, verb, object. So this is called SVO order. Whereas in other languages, all the Indian languages especially, you have SOV order. To make a simple sentence, you can just say Sneha sleeps or Sneha is sleeping. You don't require an object, but then we have taken a simple sentence. This is called a simple sentence with a subject, object, verb. Now, if you know Malayalam, Snehike Madhura Palaharam Ishtamana. Sneha sweets likes. The order is this way. In Malayalam, it sounds like Sneha sweets likes. So, this is known as SOV order. That's the greatest problem or hindrance in developing fluency for Indians, because you know the word order itself is different from English. For example, if you ask a lower primary school student, ask her to translate Snehake Madhura Palaharam Ishtamana into English, she will translate, or he or she will translate Sneha sweets likes. Sneha sweets likes, because that is the order. So coming to another language, if you know Kannada, Sneha sihi tindigalannu ishtapaduttare. Again, Sneha is subject, sihi tindi is object, and ishtapaduttare is verb. So you see, English is SVO, but then Malayalam, Kannada, all these languages are SOV. Subject, English is subject, verb, object, whereas in other languages, Indian languages, you have subject, then object, then verb. If you take Tamil, if you know Tamil, you know this is subject, then object, again verb. So SOV ordered. You take any language, Indian languages, you have subject, then object, at the end verb. Whereas English has got subject, verb, object, or SVO order. That's why you have a translation process going within your brain to change, even to understand the text, because you are prone to think in SOV order, whereas the text is giving you SVO order. So you have to start thinking in English, so it becomes easier. You can read faster, listen and understand better, all these things. Now you see, pollution is a problem. Simple sentence doesn't mean it is short. It can be very long, but I'll tell you why it is simple. You might have seen some of my sentences were 1.5 lines, more than a line, when I prepared my simple sentences about Mavis Brampton case note. Now you see, pollution is a problem. Pollution subject is the verb, object, a problem. Now, as we order, now pollution is a serious problem. You can add an adjective here, so it becomes even longer. You can add an adjective. Pollution is a serious problem. Or you can make air pollution, adjective here. Air pollution is a serious problem. Then pollution is a serious problem in the city. You can add a preposition. So it becomes even longer. There is a preposition in the city and says where it is. And air pollution from cars, you can add another preposition, from cars. You see, air pollution from cars is a serious problem in the city. So you have one more preposition added here. So you have two prepositions and an adjective in the sentence. Still, it remains a simple sentence. Now you see the case note, Mavis Brampton. See, Mavis Brampton, the case note, you are familiar. The patient is now going home from the Northern Community Hospital, Moreland 3051. Admitted 10th January 2011. BP and other details here. Then, you know, we have created this. These were our sentences. Mavis Brampton was admitted to Northern Community Hospital, Moreland 3051. Second sentence, Marvis Bampton was admitted on 10th January 2011. I'm not explaining the case notes because that's not our business. We have already transformed these case notes into simple sentences. So till here, the work is done. Mr. Bampton had breathlessness. Compound sentence, simple sentences. You have two simple sentences. The foundation stone was laid in 1834. Just imagine a hospital foundation stone was laid in 1834. I'm giving a general example, then we'll go to case notes. Second simple sentence, the hospital opened in 1837. These are two simple sentences. Now we have to make it a compound sentence. You see, the foundation stone was laid in 1834. The conjunction, coordinating conjunction, we call it. There are also subordinating conjunctions, which we will see later. The foundation was laid in 1834, and this is the same sentence. The hospital opened in 1837. So no difference, no changes made between two simple sentences. Only one conjunction is added. So the foundation stone was laid in 1834 and the hospital opened in 1837. Here you see simple sentence. This is also known as independent clause. Independent clause means it can stand by itself. It has got a subject and a verb. It doesn't require any other portion of the sentence or another sentence to make sense. Then you have another simple sentence here. This is also an independent clause. I'm putting in bracket because when we frame complex sentences, we should know what is independent clause and what is dependent clause. Now, conjunction, coordinating conjunction. Conjunction means, as the word sounds, it is a connector. So, compound sentence is made out of two simple sentences, and those two simple sentences are known as independent clauses, and those two simple sentences are connected with a conjunction. And then you have a compound sentence. So here, case notes. BP 170 by 90 slightly raised temperature. 13 degree, okay, that is 0 should be superscript, sorry for the mistake. And then we have made the simple sentence. This second step is already done, okay, that's why I'm going faster there. Simple sentences were Mr. Brampton's blood pressure was 170 on 90. Mrs. Brampton's temperature was 39. Now, compound sentence. How to make a compound sentence on these things. So this on examination is the introductory phrase, which we are not required here. I just put in brackets. We'll write Mrs. Brampton's BP was 170 on 90 and the temperature was 39 degrees. So, and we have just added the conjunction and here. So you have a compound sentence. So a simple sentence combined with a conjunction is a compound sentence. And in OET, all competitive exams, you are supposed to use variety of sentences to show your competency in grammatical range. No, you know different types of sentences. You cannot keep on writing all the simple sentences. You need to write simple sentence, compound sentence, and complex sentence. If I'm going fast, you can stop me, okay? These are simple things, not very, very serious, but you should have an idea. That's all. You do not know what are the contents of all these slides, but you should know what is known as a compound sentence. When I teach you later, transforming the case, I'll tell you we are going to frame, or please frame a compound sentence out of these two simple sentences. Then you should know what is a compound sentence. That's it. You just need an idea, not that you should by heart all these things. Now you see compound sentences, we are going into the three stages, okay? Case notes, then simple sentences, then compound sentences. See, this is the case note. So these were the sentences. Then we had this one sentence. Okay, now see, simple sentence. The sentence actually, she is a regular smoker. No, usually we don't say smoker, but I am just using it for teaching the structure of the sentence. You should not use the word smoker. Maybe you can use she smokes so many cigarettes per day or something like that. She drinks moderately on weekends. These are two simple sentences. Now we are going to frame one compound sentence out of these two sentences, simple sentences. So she is a regular smoker, first one, and the conjunction added, drinks moderately on weekends. Now the difference is that you need not repeat she. The subject has to be omitted. You need not repeat she. It's not proper to say she is a regular smoker and she drinks moderately. She is a regular smoker and drinks moderately on weekends. She is understood there. So what you have to do? Remove the pronoun here after conjunction. One more example. She gained 8 kg over the past 12 months. She currently weighs 86 kg. These are two simple sentences. The compound sentence is She has gained 8 kg over the past 12 months and currently weighs 86 kg. Again, you see, the she in the second simple sentence is not repeated, that is omitted. You need not repeat that particular she, the pronoun, in the second sentence after the conjunction. Now, compound sentences, independent clause plus independent clause. As I said, one simple sentence which has a subject and verb is known as an independent clause because it makes sense by itself. Two independent clauses joined with a comma and a conjunction. So what to do with the aspects of past medical history that are either normal or not very important. You have seen this. So this is summarize the things. Then I'll show you how to write one sentence. You see, no smoking or no known allergies, no further hair loss, no current medications, no significant medical history, no surgical history, no reported drug use. If you have that, if at all you need word count, you can summarize them into the patient's medical history is unremarkable. Then you have high smoking, smokes 30 cigarettes per day, alcohol on weekends, drinks 3 wine glasses at night. Now what to write? She smokes 30 cigarettes per day and drinks moderately on weekends. She smokes 30 cigarettes per day instead of saying she is a smoker and drinks moderately on weekends. Complex sentence. Now that is over. Okay, just showing you how to transform the case notes into compound sentences. What you have to do, as you complete this session, what you are supposed to go to your simple sentences that you have framed from the case notes and try to transform them into compound sentences as the first step. May not be all the case notes, not required. As and when required, you can make compound sentences. After that, you can try to combine one simple sentence and a compound sentence into a complex sentence or two compound sentences into a complex sentence as required. Now, complex sentence, dependent clause, comma, independent clause. I said there are two clauses in a complex sentence. There's a dependent clause, which means, as it says, as the name sounds, it has to depend on an independent clause to make sense. Dependent clause itself will not have a meaning. So independent clause and without comma, you can write dependent clause. This means if you write dependent clause first, you must mark a comma, then write the independent clause. That's very important because this is going to be, as regards your grammar, this is going to be penalized if you make a mistake here. So if you are writing the independent clause first, that doesn't require a support. So no comma is required. After independent clause, you can write dependent clause. I'll explain it with the examples. See, now you write at the end of the letter. If you have any further queries, comma, because this is a dependent clause. If you have any further queries, doesn't make sense by itself. So you have to mark a comma before you write the independent clause. Please do not hesitate to contact me. Please do not hesitate to contact me is a complete sentence. Their subject is understood. You please do not hesitate to contact me. You can be put in brackets. So you don't write it. That's not required, but it is understood. So you have a subject, a verb, and complex. So this is dependent clause. Then you have comma. Then you have independent clause. So just remember, if DC, if there is dependent clause first, you have to have comma. You must put comma. If it is independent, IC, no comma. No IC, only DC. After independent clause, no comma. If you have any further queries, comma, please do not hesitate to contact me. Now, which clause first, independent or dependent clause? So the answer is, if the independent clause comes first, don't use comma. Do not hesitate to contact me if you require further information. The same sentence, we have put the order in a different way. Earlier it was, we started with if clause. Now we have, do not hesitate to contact me if you require further information. So no comma here, because do not hesitate to contact me in itself is a sentence. The subject, I said, understood. You do not hesitate to contact me. So no comma there. Independent clause, do not hesitate to contact me. You is understood there. You don't write. Yeah. When you stand in the middle of the stage, a general example, dependent clause, comma, you can talk to everybody. You have the independent clause at the end. Second part is the independent clause. So you need a comma because you started with when you stand in the middle of the stage, then that itself doesn't make proper sense, perfect sense. That's why it is known as dependent clause. When you stand in the middle of the stage, you can talk to everybody. After the middle of stage, there is a comma because dependent clause first. Now you see, you can talk to everybody. No full stop here. Okay, that's a mistake. See, we are putting the other way about the order. Independent clause first. You can talk to everybody when you stand in the middle of the stage. Okay, independent clause. One independent clause, one dependent clause. I am again stressing, giving some more examples. One complex sentence means one independent clause, another dependent clause with comma or without comma. Independent clause contains a verb and is a sentence by itself. Which clause first? As I said, independent clause comes first. Don't use comma. If the dependent clause comes first, use comma. Now you see one example. Which clause comes first? Treatment will begin after a full diagnosis is made. Treatment will begin is independent clause. Subject plus verb is a complete sentence. Treatment will begin. So if they see, so since treatment will begin is the first part of the sentence, you need not put a comma. But then if you start with after a full diagnosis is made, comma, the treatment will begin. Treatment will begin after a full diagnosis. So there are one independent clause, one dependent clause. We have started with independent clause. So there is no comma required. After a full diagnosis, see the other way, it is written in a different way. After a full diagnosis, that is dependent clause first. So we have put a comma here. Treatment will begin. So if you start with the dependent clause, you have to put a comma. Usually you use a complex sentence when you write your introductory paragraph as well as your last request. Do not hesitate to contact me. So beginning should create a good impression. So make sure that when you write a complex sentence in the introductory paragraph, if at all you are writing, make sure this C is followed. And one more example, the patient's symptoms aggravated due to non-compliance with medication. The patient's symptoms aggravated due to non-compliance with medication. Independent clause first. The patient's symptoms aggravated. That itself is a sentence, full sentence. So it is an independent clause. That's why we have not put a comma after that, after the independent clause. So dependent clause is due to non-compliance with medication. So if you are writing the dependent clause first, you have to use the comma. For example, here you see same sentence written in a different order. Due to non-compliance with the medication is dependent clause. So comma, the patient's symptoms aggravated, which is an independent clause. Okay, that's it. So we have seen a couple of examples, good many of them. And what you have to do is you need to practice for your competency.